Namaste. Good morning, everyone. It is March 8th, already 2021, and it's time for another edition of Mantra Monday. I'm actually going to have to go back and do a count and figure out how many editions we've done so far. We're getting up to 2 years since I started these, and today we are continuing on with chapter 11, the universal form. So if you look in the description, you'll see that I have posted the Sanskrit, the translation, the word-for-word translation, the English translation, and the purport for you. So you can follow along if you want to. Well, I can't hear you, so if you want to try and chant the verses with me, you can do that. Also, in the chat box here, you can support this channel. There's a link where you can support this channel by donating $1 or $2 to paypal.me/akinimusic. Your donations are really, really appreciated. I know we generally don't think of these things when we watch different programs and stuff, but it does cost money to use these services, and it does cost money to keep the internet on. So it's very much appreciated because it definitely helps me continue. Also, if you would like SMS text alerts before I go live, there's also a link down here. You can go to akinimusic.com/mantra-mondays, and you can put in your phone number in there and you can get a little text message alert, because we're all busy. Okay, so today we're going to be doing text 39 and 40. I will be reading in Sanskrit. We are only, when we finish today, 15 verses away from the end of the universal form. I am reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, the devotional text, the bhakti text, translated by the saint and scholar A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Okay, so here we go. Vāyur yamo gnir varuṇaḥ śaśa-aṅkaḥ prajāpatis tvam prapitāmahaś namo namaste astu sahasra-kṛtvaḥ punaś bhūyo namo namaste. So now I'm going to sing this. Vāyur yamo gnir varuṇaḥ śaśā-aṅkaḥ prajāpatis tvam prapitāmahaś namo namaste astu sahasra-kṛtvaḥ punaś bhūyo namo namaste. One more time. Vāyur yamo gnir varuṇaḥ śaśā-aṅkaḥ prajāpatis tvam prapitāmahaś namo namaste astu sahasra-kṛtvaḥ punaś bhūyo namo namaste. Vāyur yamo gnir varuṇaḥ śaśā-aṅkaḥ prajāpatis tvam prapitāmahaś namo namaste astu sahasra-kṛtvaḥ punaś bhūyo namo namaste. The important thing is to try, even if you make mistakes. I've been trying to recite these verses for since I was 18, right? Almost over 30 years. So, but it's beautiful and poetic, and it's liberating. There's a lot of power in the Sanskrit mantras. And in Kali Yuga, it's accepted that we're not going to do these things perfectly. Word for word translation. Vāyur, air, yamaḥ, the controller, agniḥ, fire, varuṇaḥ, water, śaśa-aṅkaḥ, the moon, prajāpatiḥ, Brahmā, tvam, you, prapitāmahaḥ, the great grandfather, cha, also, namaḥ, my respects, Nama, again my respects. Te, unto you. Astu, let there be. Sahasra-kṛtvaḥ, 1,000 times. Punaḥ, and again. Bhūyaḥ, again. Api, also. Namaḥ, offering my respects. Namaḥ te, offering my respects unto you. Translation: you are air, and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahmā, the first living creature, and you are the great-grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. Purport: the Lord is addressed here as air, because the air is the most important representation of all the demigods, being all-pervasive. Arjuna also addresses Krishna as the great-grandfather because he is the father of Brahmā, the first living creature in the universe. And that is the end of that purport to text 39. However, I am remembering so many things that were discussed in the opulence of the Absolute, the previous chapter, chapter 10. So all these things are mentioned here because, again, Krishna kept pointing out how it is that we could see him within the material world, how we could perceive him on the earth planet in our day-to-day activities. And it's broken down into so many different things, like the air that we breathe, where we certainly cannot live without air. We can't live without water, but even before water comes air. That is absolutely required. So the Lord is understood to be everything that is life-sustaining. He says that everything rests upon him, the way pearls rest on a thread. And this is true. This is literal. This is not a fantasy. And how is this so? This is one of the ways that this is so. Good morning, Deanna. Namaste. Ah, so nice to have you here. Thank you. Are you getting the text message alerts just out of curiosity, or are you just getting the alerts on your Facebook notifications? Just wondering. Let me know. So also here, Arjuna is saying, oh, you are the supreme controller, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller. God is the supreme controller. He's creating everything and everything. He's controlling everything. Everything is resting upon him. He's also pointing out that you are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. So again, this is like a nice recap of what happened or what was being told in the previous chapter. You can hear Noah barking in the background. Noah thinks he's the supreme controller. But it says, anyway, you are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great-grandfather. So you are fire, right? Fire is an essential element. Fire is not something that we simply use for cooking. Obviously, we experience the warmth of the sun, right? That great ball of fire, but also the fire of digestion that is within us that allows us to consume eatables and draw the nutrients from them. So also in the sacrificial fire, when you perform a fire sacrifice for a wedding, for example, and you throw different grains into the fire, for example, that is considered to be the mouth of Lord Vishnu, right? Let me see. You are water, right? So varuṇaḥ, talked about that. Varuṇaḥ also means, if I'm not getting this, well, it also means like sort of all covering, or sort of all pervading. I mean, it's actually referring to the oceans that cover the Earth planet. 2/3 of the Earth are water. There's only 1/3 of the planet that is landmass. So that just goes to show you how important water is. Of course, we are also made of, about 70% water. Our bodies, water is extremely important to bathe in, to cook in, to use for offerings. Krishna says, if one offers me a little water, a flower, in love and devotion, I will accept that. Water is extremely purifying. We have all the sacred rivers, the Ganges, the Jamunas, and so forth. So Krishna is to be understood to be water. The rivers are his veins of bodies of water. He is the ocean. Then he says, you are the moon. Of course, the moon is another beneficial planet. It helps actually give the sweet taste to vegetables, fruits and vegetables. Little known fact in the West. It's not only a good time to plant seeds when the moon is full, because it helps draw them up. It helps them, it helps them germinate. Very fascinating, right? Farmers are more in touch in general. If they're not doing agribusiness, they're more in touch with these different things. They have to, really plan out their planting, right? And when they're going to be when they're going to be reaping what they sow, according to cycles, according to the cycles of the moon and the sun and the weather patterns and all these different things. So planting a garden or tilling the land, these different things, it's a very nice way to actually remember the Supreme and develop that appreciation. I was just looking at the apple tree that we planted in the garden a couple of weeks ago and appreciating all the little blossoms and flowers and the bees that are coming. And I actually was moved to tears because how beautiful and how intricate, this fruit tree, and how it's giving shelter, to so many things. So I was reflecting that while being here on earth is certainly a challenge, especially during these days and times, the closer that we can come to nature, the more that we can develop and have this appreciation for the Supreme, right? For the Creator. It actually opens up our hearts and makes us feel more love. Let me see. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. So, Krishna is the great-grandfather because he is the father of Brahmā, the first living creature in the universe. I just wanted to mention that too, because you were like, what? How can Krishna be a great-grandfather? God is timeless, God is eternally youthful, but still, God is not impersonal. So there are these kind of family relationships, right? We all have a family relationship with God, and we all have a family relationship, by extension, with all our brothers and sisters and with all the living entities and with everyone around us. And true, until we get to that point where we are completely self-realized, I know that I struggle with it. It can be hard to see things that way sometimes, but looking from, a very elevated spiritual perspective, that helps us see through the eyes of the scriptures, the shastra-chakshus. Oh, and Deanna, it's totally fine. I mean, Facebook is a totally fine notification thing. I know a lot of people have that. I was just curious because I'm just wondering if it's actually helping people to have the SMS alerts, Okay, so now we're going to go on to text 40. Nama purustad atta prishtataste namas tu te sharvata eva sharva ananta viryamita vikramastvam sharvam samapnoshi tato shi sharvaha. Nama purushtad atta prishtataste namostute sharvata eva sharva ananta viryamita vikramas tvam. Sarvam samapnoshi tatoshi sarvaha. Nama purushtarata pritastaste. Namastu te sarvata eva sarva. Ananta viryamita vikramastvam. Sarvam samapnoshi tatoshi sarvaha. Nama purushtarata pristataste. Namostu te sarvata eva sarva. Ananta viryamita vikramastvam. Sarvam samapnoshi tatoshi sarvaha. Translation: Namaha, offering obeisances. Purushtat, from the front. Ata, also. Prishtahata, Prishta, excuse me, I didn't say that right. Prishtataha, from behind. Te, unto you. Nama astu, I offer my respects. Te, unto you. Sharvataha, from all sides. Eva, indeed. Sharva, because you are everything. Anantavirya, unlimited potency. Amita vikramaha, and unlimited force. Tvam, you. Sharvam, everything. Shamapnoshi, you cover. Tataha, therefore. Ashi, you are. Sharvaha, everything. Translation: obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Purport: out of loving ecstasy for Krishna, his friend Arjuna is offering his respects from all sides. So there's 4 directions, right? North, south, east, and west. And there's also above and below. That's called the 6 directions. He is accepting that he is the master of all potencies and all the prowess and far superior to all the great warriors assembled on the battlefield. It is said in the Vishnu Purana 1.9.69, right? So that would be, what would that be? Chapter 1. Actually, the Vishnu Purana must be divided up into sections. Okay, I digress. Yoyam tabagato deva samipam devata ganaha satvam eva jagatshastra yata sharvo gata bhavan. Whoever comes before you, be he a demigod, is created by you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Well, that gave me chills. That sums it up. Whoever comes before you, be he a demigod, is created by you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, as it was stated last week, perhaps it was the week before. Oh, no, it was last week in text 37. O great one, greater even than Brahmā, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisance as unto you, O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe? You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. So you see that as Arjuna is offering these prayers, there's nuance in it. They are repetitive in a way, but they are also, kind of showing different aspects, or revealing different dimensions, different nuances, I think is a good word, of the majesty of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's very humbling. I don't know about you, but personally, myself, I feel humbled by this. I also feel a kind of an ecstasy, a kind of a happiness by this. It's really the type of thing, well, if I had any hair, it'd make my hair stand on end. But it's really the type of thing that just kind of grips you, you know, by the heart, and you're just like, wow, you know, wow. So this is the effect that the Vishvat Rupa and the universal form is having on Arjuna, you know, what to speak of us. So it's a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful thing, but as you will see in text 41 and 42, it does interfere and get in the way with a more intimate relationship with Krishna, right? Because this revelation of the universal form really comes under the category of awe and reverence, right? It's really uh, it's really about awe and reverence really gets in the way because you can't just relate, you know, you can't just relate, you know, as you would normally, because you are so busy in admiration. You're so busy admiring, and you're so busy realizing what your position is as a small jiva, right? That you can't actually act in a fraternal rasa or a conjugal rasa or a parental rasa or a neutral rasa. Basically, this is the definition of starstruck, right? You say that when people become starstruck, they kind of go into like a kind of a shock, right? And they just lose their ability. They lose their ability to speak properly. They lose their ability to relate. You know, they just kind of drink it all in. So this is why Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, and even when Krishna is manifesting his transcendental Leela on the earth planet, he actually covers over his entourage and his intimate associates with something that is called yoga maya. Is it yoga maya? It's either yoga maya or mahamaya. For some reason, I'm confusing those things in my brain today. But essentially, he wraps his devotees in his internal energy, his internal potency, a kind of a forgetfulness. He doesn't want them to always be, you know, like this with him, because I guess you could say Krishna feels like a normal person, right? He just wants to have loving relationships, you know. Uh, his mother Yasoda preparing food for him, or perhaps calling him into dinner, him eating with his father, with Nanda Maharaj, or going out into the pasture with his companions, you know, with all the other gopas, with all the other cowherds, and tending the cows and joking and going on adventures and eating their lunch and making funny noises, you know, under their arm, or, you know, all these different things. God is love, and God is interested in augmenting his loving relationship with us. That's the deal. So, but in order to get there from where we are now and to be reinstated in that position, it's important for us to go through this rehabilitation process and go through a kind of a reawakening, a training, a immersive appreciation, just to really kind of take stock of where we are at now and where we need to go through this process of shravanam kirtanam, chanting and hearing, and also accepting prasadam and reading and all these different things that we do. So, Deanna, do you have any questions? Anything you wanted to ask? You may have your hands full right now. You may not be able to ask anything. But if there's anything, you know, at any time y'all want to ask me, if you have any questions about this, you know, please go ahead and do so. Once again, the description of what we've covered today is here in the Sanskrit and all of that. So if you don't have time to look at it now, you can certainly look at it later. It is 8:25. I will be on Instagram at 9:30. to do another Mantra Monday session for the peeps over there. I want to thank everyone who came to the dance off on Saturday night. It was a lot of fun. The new electro mix has dropped, so if you're on my Facebook page here, you can see that it's pinned to the top of the page. Enjoy that. I put a lot of club visuals there for you so you can have fun at your own private disco whenever you can. It's a great workout, let me tell you. That song is a workout. I mean, even if you're just doing the 7.5 minutes, your heart is pumping by the end of it. So I did about, I must have danced to it, 5 or 6 times in a row on Saturday, and I was like, woof. So dancing is great to keep your spirits up. All right, so until I see you next time, which will be soon, I wish you a great rest of your week. I do have something I want to talk to you about, but I think I'm just going to kind of pop up in a separate situation here virtually and let you know what's in the works. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great rest of your week, y'all. Namaste.